Oh yeah. Welcome in, everyone. It's the AJ Sports Show. I hope you enjoyed my little impromptu beats that I was dropping for y'all, lovely people out there.
We're like the Migos with the ad libs now, dude.
I like it, yeah. Love it.
I don't auto-tune. So this is the AJ Sports Show. This is our court session episode where we cover the NBA and all that jazz. Just not the Utah Jazz, because no one picked them when they were younger. So what's going on, Jay? What's going on, Andrew? How are you guys doing today?
What up, buddy? Very good.
Guys. Good day.
Had to rock some Laker gear. The Raisin banner 17. So I mean, we never needed an excuse really to rock it on court sessions, but might as well, especially considering today because the 17th banner is going up. So feeling pretty good. How you doing?
Great. I'd like to take this moment to follow us and like us and subscribe to us on this YouTube platform and also Twitter, as you can see here below the ticker as it goes. Oh wait, it's not working. Hold on. This ticker
Is going.
You can follow us at the AJ Sports Show, and then we'll be happier because guess what? You'll follow us, and that makes us happy. Anyways, I'm good, man. A nice, lovely day today here in Santa Ana.
I was gonna say, are you sure? I've said like 5 different places that you live. Anyone ever trying to look for you, dude, you're welcome. Because I duped them.
Yeah, I live in a 4-street town, so it's got what, like, I mean, it's not a small town. I'm not in the Midwest here, but there's one large one called Imperial, then there's one large one called Whittier, there's one large one called Harbor, and there's one large one called Beach. I mean, most people in the OC know those streets, but I live in one of the corners, so just come searching for me. If you have a metal detector, I probably have lost lots of loose change on my way from my car to my...
That's how we'll track them right there, the loose change.
Yeah!
The breadcrumbs method.
My God.
I feel like my head's extra shiny today, but whatever. Gives you something else to look at, folks. So as I said why are you telling people where we live? There are stalkers out there, yes.
Listen, that's why I gave them like 4 different spots. I was like, it could be in this city, it could be in that city, it could be in that. Who knows? Who knows where Ace is?
Well, after this episode, if you go to the next video, which might be one of our videos, it might be our Baseball Buzz episode yesterday where we talked about aliens. I just wanted to give the aliens a better chance to find us, so if you watched yesterday's show, you'd understand that. Hashtag the truth is out there.
Yesterday was fun. Everyone should go watch that video. That was yesterday was a lot of fun.
Once this gets, so the way that YouTube works for live streams, I can't put little things in the corner, like up there, that way, until it processes, because everybody's been live streaming during the pandemic mumbo jumbo that we've been going on here in the United World of America. So once it's published, I'll put a little ticker up there to say, go watch Baseball Buzz. Anyways, we get the most interaction on Baseball Buzz, which... Call it out, all you court session folks, if you guys watch us talk about basketball. Who knew, though, right? I mean, like, basketball is supposed to be better than baseball, but... I mean, generally speaking, right? I mean,
be careful. Don't slander our Baseball Buzz audience.
I'm sorry.
Amanda, Ryan, y'all some real ones.
Yeah.
Because we're drinking, maybe that's why.
Maybe we just need to start making every show an episode where we just where we give Jay too much to drink. I lick my cup continuously because it's just so good that I have to drink from every little orifice.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that we got tahini on the side, tahini and lime. I mean, it's probably pretty tasty. So I mean, don't blame me for that one.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for football season to start. Yeah, and actually, the football schedule just dropped literally 30 minutes ago.
Sunday night football.
Chiefs at Bills Sunday night, week 5. See you there.
We got 5 prime time. How many did you get, Ace?
We got 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
After we play you guys, we played Tennessee Monday night, and then there was one other that I can't remember, and we also play the Saints evening game, I believe, on Thanksgiving.
Whoa! Little
return.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Emmanuel
Sweet
Sanders.
potato casserole, little Saints Bills. I'm all for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll see who their quarterback is, but we're ready. We took down those Dallas Cowboys a couple of years ago, and if you're Colin Cowherd or whatever, he points to that game as to say that everybody thinks the Buffalo Bills are overrated and yada yada yada. But as you watch Colin Cowherd, all of like 2020, he kind of like started to become more of a Buffalo Bills supporter. But initially, he was like, when someone zigs, Colin likes to zag, so he likes to, start making up things to get his viewership, I guess.
Yeah.
Which to me is dishonest. So just be real with folks. Like that's kind of how you got to be able to get people to connect with you, and that's what happens when you work for these big ass companies, right?
I mean, we're pretty real with folks. You can tell because I'm really wrong quite often.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'm just gonna relax over here, turn on a candle while I start talking about basketball here. Okay, so I'm gonna read the headlines. If I burn myself and say ouch, just deal with it. Okay, so our first topic up for bid here, folks. We wanted to talk about
Ace. You can't turn a candle on and not tell us the flavor of the candle.
Oh, okay.
Well, we got there.
We actually don't. You don't eat candles, so it would be the scent.
Scent. Okay, whatever. Flavor, scent.
I'm just different.
Let it be known, folks, that I always try to push the show along. But Jay's like sees a shiny object and then he gets all. No, I'm just kidding.
We will not have it.
Okay, let me hold it up. It's burning my hands.
I can't read that.
This is called aromatherapy, energy,
nice.
Orange and ginger.
Ginger's
with
good.
Natural essential oils. So this thing, if I light it up because like I'm in my second room here in the office, giving my location away even more. Come at me, Staka. Staka, come at me, and I'll hit you with my blaka in my office here. So if I light this candle, literally like 5 minutes later, the whole freaking house smells like this essential oil that it's given off. So it's actually really nice, and it says it gives you energy. So let's see if I keep like leveling up. As if you watched yesterday's show, you would understand that even better, and get crazier, more energetic. Maybe also this coffee will probably help do that too. For I don't shut up, but for what it's worth, I've been up since like 2 a.m, so I gotta juice it up a little bit here to via candle, via coffee. So,
Attaboy. That's what I'm relying on to keep me going. I got some coffee right here too. So,
but yeah,
favorite mug as well. So.
But yeah, it's a pretty good candle. So Aromatherapy is the brand. If you guys ever not sponsored, but sponsor us, Aromatherapy. We'll come down to your aromatherapy factory. We'll let Junior dip his hand in like the wax, and then make a mold out of his hand, and then we can point to that pinky finger and be like, "There's more athleticism in that pinky finger than anything on my body," as Junior likes to say. So,
very on brand for that guy.
We're all about Zen and positive vibes in the house, or at least we try to be. Yeah, definitely. We're lovers, not fighters. But we also sass and roast, I guess. So, it's the Sass and Roast Show. It's Bath and Body Works. Nah, is it, fam? It doesn't. I don't know. Well, Junior wanted me to taste it. I don't see any calories or like nutritional information on the back here. Let me. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, we're going. We're doing this. This is a basketball show, everyone. Hold on.
You're gonna know where this candle's from.
Oh wow, she's good. It is Bath and Body Works.
Damn. Oh yeah, that's why Lord Lizzie, bro. Lord Lizzie.
We call her Lord Lizzie, but she's also like a sleuth. Like she finds out, like she knows things and she finds out things.
Lieutenant Lizzie?
Is she secretly an alien? I mean,
no, she's just unbelievable.
Did she?
She's just great.
Did she probe me? Am I? Should I be worried, guys? Like,
I don't know, man.
Okay, well, okay. With that
Maybe.
being said, let's probe the NBA. Let's really get into the NBA here. Let's dissect it. Let's shove our heads so far up the NBA's ass that when we come out, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, okay. So we're not even drinking. I hope every 10 minutes of this show starts off like this, guys. I hope. Okay, so this is probably just okay. This is probably me being like tired, right? Because like it's like that backwards way of like me just being a little delusional, or is this kind of who I am? I don't know, but
A little bit of both. I mean,
a little bit of
just
both.
entertaining, no matter what. You're entertaining with a camera. Camera and a mic. You're very entertaining. So it's probably a little bit of both, but maybe the candles.
At the 10:53 mark, I awkwardly licked my lips there, so we'll timestamp that.
Don't worry, everyone made a note of that. We'll just let you know. We all made a note of that.
Okay. Yeah, here we go. Let's do 10:52.
Oh my God! What? So what happened in these? Are we talking about these?
Oh man.
Okay. If anybody is with us right now, they're probably like,
Yeah, seriously.
but anyways, it's okay. Deal with it, folks. Mikasa Sukasa. Okay, just not to the stalkers. So we're gonna start off by talking about the Brooklyn Nets here. 10:50. Oh, I mistyped that. Damn it. The Brooklyn Nets have James Harden returning to the lineup today. After missing 5+ weeks or whatever with the hamstring injury. This dude really wants to play some regular season basketball. I don't know what he wants to prove, but go for it, man. Do your thing. Welcome back to the regular season of the NBA, where there's only 3 or 2 or 4 games left, depending on who the heck you are. The Nets are 27-7 with Harden in the lineup. Hashtag Andrew pulled up the stats. Thanks, bro. Since being traded from Houston, so obviously that's an insane win percentage. Still have lost a couple of games. They are 11-11 though when he doesn't play. So since they traded for him, they're 500, which isn't great because we're talking about like the number 1 touted team in all of the league, as at least to the perception of many. 500 isn't cutting it, but again, it's another pandemic-ridden season. It's hard to judge these games, right? You have to take everything with a little grain of salt until we get past this. This phase of our lives here. I'm going to keep talking. So while I talk, do you guys think it's a good idea that he's playing tonight or a bad idea?
I mean, I guess it's just I don't know if Brooklyn is trying to move up to the 1 seed or just maintain the 2 seed. They're 2 games back of Philly for the 1 seed, only 1 game above Milwaukee, who's currently the 3. Just for reference, Brooklyn's got they're playing the Spurs right now. They're up by 6. Harden has barely played at all. Then they have the Bulls and Cavs, so they should win those games. Milwaukee has the Pacers, the Heat, and then the Bulls. So I don't expect them to drop one there either. And then the Sixers have the Heat tomorrow, and then back-to-back games against the Magic. So just from the looks of it, it looks like these teams will probably stay pretty stand pat where they're at. So I'm not sure exactly why he wants to come back. I guess maybe just to get in the rhythm of the offense, get back going. But we said it, we said it on a couple shows before. Like they've been, kind of injury ridden all year. It's kind of hard to get healthy for the playoffs. I mean, the same kind of bodes for the Lakers too. Want them. They've been kind of injury riddled all season, so you're kind of hoping that these 2 teams get healthy in time for the playoffs. Kyrie is missing today though against San Antonio due to a facial contusion. I didn't see it, but Jay mentioned that he got walloped pretty good the other night. I don't know exactly what happened.
He got whapped. Yeah, he got whomped right in the face.
Like Anthony Davis did last night too. He got all teary-eyed because he got like jammed.
I think it was like an elbow coming down. AD was like a hand coming up, but I mean it's a hamstring injury, so soft tissue is always a little scary when you're dealing with players. If he's healthy, I don't see why there's any reason he doesn't play. I mean, if it was something where we were just waiting until the postseason to make sure he's 100% healthy, and we just don't want to take any chances. But if he's good to go now, I mean, he's James Harden. He plays big minutes. It's what he's known for doing. Obviously, you want him healthy during the postseason as opposed to the regular season, but this isn't like when he was in Houston and he was doing it all on his own. Milwaukee owns a tiebreaker for Brooklyn, so this is actually a big game for them today. If they lose and Milwaukee wins out, they're going to jump them for the 2 seed. which really only matters for home court advantage for what that's worth. They can't get to the 1 seed unless. Yeah, Philly would have to lose one, and they'd have to win out because Philly owns the tiebreaker there. So, I mean, it's fine that he's playing as long as he's healthy to play. He'll play. I mean, it seems like when they come off the bench, especially like coming back from injury, KD did the same thing. I think he played like 22 minutes in his first game, and then they ramped it up a little bit. So, I'm sure they're doing something similar to that. People have talked about Harden's conditioning. Maybe that's something that has to do with it. Just want to make sure that he's ready to go, get some minutes in him before the postseason stretch starts. But yeah, Brooklyn looks like they're going to be a tough out in that Eastern Conference. And yeah, sitting at the 2 seed, that's where I see them finishing. Although I can see Milwaukee jumping them if they do lose one of those games.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed that. Sorry, to cut you off. I just kind of assumed that Harden had seen the floor because he didn't play in the first quarter. So I was like, okay, he's probably going to get in the game. I'm just looking at the box score. He hasn't played a minute yet, so maybe he doesn't come in. I'm just trying to make sure on that real quick.
I just double checked that, Andrew, but he hasn't played a minute yet, but his plus minus is -3 right now. So did they literally put him in for like
30 seconds, and then he had like what the heck? We got to go on the Twitter sphere for this real quick.
So Jay, while try to figure out, did he like hurt himself or something? I don't know why you would put him in and have -3 there. Yeah. So the way that I kind of interpret the Brooklyn Nets playing him is not just to stretch him out, but I think because you could do that in practice, right? You could do that against your teammates in a less like leveraged situation. I think that they're just trying to like play their hand. It's kind of, to me, strategy because everybody knows they're a really good team when James Harden plays, as seen by the record. So I think that they just want to forcibly scare people by having Harden play. That would be my interpretation. If it was me, I would just not play him so I could just kind of surprise teams. But I guess if you see James Harden on the starting 5 of the other team, you're not really surprised. However, I think it's more of them just trying to like prove like, hey, we are the best team, even though we don't have the best record because we've had so many injuries. That would be what I would assume. But man, like this Brooklyn Nets team, if they don't, get it together, like health wise, they do have some concerns.
He just checked in. That's why he literally. I think he's on the floor now. He just checked in. Okay. Last I checked, yeah. So the Spurs just hit a 3 right when he checked in. He just went to the free throw line and made both free throws. So
sounds good. So looking at these, here I'll pull it up. It's not that much bigger. Never mind. Looking at this though, so 2 versus 3. 6 versus 7. That's how it plays out. So we know that the 4 through 6 here can go anyway, right? So the Knicks lost to the Lakers last night, which they were the 4 seed originally. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So literally, they have no idea who their opponent will be. If they're the 2 seed, it's most likely going to be. Well, it will be one of the play-in tournament winners. If they are the 3 seed, then they'll be facing either the Hawks, Heat, or Knicks. And either way, like that shapes up to be a pretty good first round series again for them. And I said last week, like, well, just sit out James Harden for the first round. But if you have to face the Hawks, Heat, or Knicks in the first round, I would not sit James Harden. If I maybe had to face like the Charlotte Hornets, Indiana Pacers, or especially the Boston Celtics, I would maybe consider not playing him the whole series. But yeah, so
the Hawks are down 11 right now to the Wizards with the third quarter just about to end. Brody, Brody's they've been unbelievable. I mean, they are making me look like a genius right now. I tell you.
Oh yeah, let me pat you on the back even more here, buddy.
Check the tapes about 6 weeks ago, a little while ago.
So when I look at this, right, I look at this and I say to myself, like, okay, the Hawks, I think I think they'll make a series competitive, but I don't necessarily believe that they're pushing for it just quite yet. I think the Miami Heat, and we'll talk about them right now, I think that they had the most potential if they could have stretched out Victor Oladipo and he wasn't injured. So that was a kind of trade that went bad. So let's talk about the Heat here, right? So Victor Oladipo not going to play this year. Ended his season ending with the hamstring injury, which he'll have surgery on. So kind of sucks for them.
Isn't that crazy, dude? We were talking about this a few weeks ago. as you kind of mentioned, and they were one of the teams that we talked about. Like, hey, look, if they get Oladipo back healthy, even without Oladipo, they were scary. I mean, they were I don't know if people forgot or something. They were in the finals last year. Not Milwaukee, not the Sixers, who brought back pretty much the exact same team. Added some shooters, but besides that, the main three is still there. Changed the coach up, but they were the Heat. I mean, were just in the finals. Adding Victor Oladipo to that would have been unbelievable. He's a great defender on the wing. He is able to get his own shot, play make for others. I mean, he's shown it pretty much everywhere he's gone that he's able to do all those things that you're looking for, especially when you're looking at playoff basketball. Now, doing it in the playoffs is obviously a little bit different. He's had I don't think he's had a whole lot of playoff success from what I can recall right off the top of my head. But adding him to that Miami Heat team that has had playoff success and, again, been to the finals and gone through it with Eric Spoelstra, who's a great coach, underrated coach in my opinion. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA. Yeah, I think that was a big blow for them. I definitely see their chances of getting to the second round a lot. They'll probably make it to the second round, but after that, I mean, you could have made an argument for them to win a second round playoff series. I don't see that anymore.
Yeah, I the way that I kind of interpret is that they had postseason success last year, so I won't underestimate their ability even without Oladipo. I just wonder because they gave up Avery Bradley, who's injured right now, and they gave up Kelly
Olynyk.
I can't speak, bro. Olynyk. And so, I mean, that's a little bit of depth that they obviously would have liked to keep, retain, and then they swapped, I think, first-round picks or something next year. So, it was a good trade for them. It just Oladipo didn't play. I mean, he played a couple games. I think 4 games. Oh, right here, 4 games, 12 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. So, I mean, that even that as a role player is pretty decent on a team that would have had like 8 startable players. So.
Yeah, his best game came against the Lakers. Funny enough, he scored like 23 points against us in a home game, and we're able to beat the Lakers and help the Heat do that. But he didn't really do much else. Yeah, he saw a good amount of minute share, but it just sucks. He's a good player who's gonna unfortunately have a short season in an already shortened season. Hopefully he's just back and healthy for next year because he's a very good player when he's on the court and healthy. He was averaging 20 points for just over 4 boards and just over 4 assists on the season as a whole, including his time in Houston. So a guy like Jay mentioned who can get his own shot. Miami, if they can, I don't know what his contract situation is, so I don't know if he's back next year.
Free agent.
Yep,
expiring. So he's a free agent next year.
He'll be a hot commodity, honestly. If he can be healthy and recover well from that, he'll be definitely a really good. He's kind of like a prototypical 2 guard. He could shoot well enough. He plays great. He plays great wing defense. I know Jay's. He's making that, so hoping that he can woo all the people to the Lakers. Yeah. The only problem is he might cost a pretty penny considering what the money is.
You can't stay healthy. 2.5 years. You can't stay healthy.
I mean, when we're in the current state of the NBA where Dennis Schroeder is turning down $22 million AAV, like, I mean, the annual value that's for a guy like Victor Oladipo, I don't know what he's going to be making.
Who gets more this offseason? I would assume it's Oladipo, right? But wouldn't you look at the longevity and the way that Dennis Schroeder's been able to be consistent? I mean,
I'd probably say Dennis Schroeder.
Right?
Well, again, you factor in the fact that he's coming off injury and surgery, and then Oladipo, and then Schroeder has playing, coming off. This season he's playing relatively well in comparison to the year before when he finished second and 6th man of the year and averaged 19 points in OKC. He's a little bit down, but his usage is also not that high because he's not running with the second team all the time and running the offense. So.
And he played well.
I'd probably say Schroeder, yeah. He played really well, yeah, absolutely.
Oklahoma City was a playoff team last year. Like for real. Like people don't remember that because they're like last in the West, or second to last in the West, behind above the Timberwolves. But these dudes were in the playoffs last year with Chris Paul, like Dennis Schroeder, Chris Paul, Shea, and I love me some Shea. But yeah,
it's the Chris Paul effect.
For real, dude.
He gets teams to the playoffs because he makes them better. He brings out the best qualities of them, but he's not good enough to win it on his own.
He's only won 5. Did you know? You guys want to know something? Chris Paul has won 5 playoff series. 5.
And how long
Was he been in the league?
16
13,
years?
14 years? Yeah,
Yeah,
something
right?
like that. 5 playoff series.
He's a 17-year veteran. He came into the
I'm
league in
almost
05.
positive it's 5. I don't want to do slanders. Let me go check, but I'm pretty sure it's 5.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good because he should have been a Laker and he could have won it with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, the league is so the league has been criticized of its parity for many years, and this year, I'll give it some props, has been like uber competitive. However, the Golden State Warriors rattled off a bunch of championships, right? The Lakers just recently won it. They're 17 NBA championships to their belt. The Spurs had their run, right? The Boston Celtics won a couple, in the last like decade or so. So I mean, it's the league. It has parity. It does not necessarily always repeat, except if you're a Golden State Warriors fan. I mean, the Toronto Raptors won it. I mean, so there's a little bit of like breaks in the action there, but. What I think we're all kind of trying to see here is who's going to maybe be the next dynasty. A lot of people thinking the Brooklyn Nets, but if they can't even stay healthy like this in their first year, why am I supposed to think like, oh, okay, like these guys are going to keep getting it together before drama enters in and then the team falls apart to some degree? Because that's exactly what happened to the 2003, 2004 Lakers. I keep talking about it because it's important because they fell apart injury wise, and then after the season ended, they split up because two of the guys. No, Karl Malone retired. Gary Payton, I think, played one more season. And Kobe and Shaq played their final season together. So it happened. It is what it is, right? But I just wonder if without basketball to be played, if they can't distract themselves on the court. Will that team still be able to like be together? And we're not talking about a dynasty until they win one. So for what it's worth, but we'll see what happens. I definitely like the layout of this Eastern Conference. I know that when we see these 7 and through 10 teams right here, right? They're all generally like record wise inferior to the top 6 here. But I mean, it's because the Knicks got hot, right? They were crushing it in April. The Heat have kind of just trended upwards most of the season. The Hawks have played really well, rattled off a win streak, and then your cream of your crop at the top, right? So you expected these 3 teams here at the top to be in it because they have MVP candidates, they have good coaches, right? Like they have. Some of the best players in the basketball world. So let's talk about these bottom 4 teams right here real quick. So Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics, done for the season. It's important because their chances of being a successful playoff opponent now probably dwindles down to like Cinderella story status to me. The Charlotte Hornets got LaMelo Ball back. Playing some decent ball. However, they've been, kind of up and down. The Indiana Pacers have dealt with a lot of injuries this season. Again, not a team that I would exactly be scared of. And then the Washington Wizards coming from 11 or 12 games below 500 to now being in the playoffs. They're the 10 seed, right? For now, but could potentially even jump up that. But I don't think any of us would be surprised if the Wizards made the play-in tournament, which we kind of think that they will, right? We think that they'll probably finish as the 8th seed here.
I know I do.
Which is all to say that they're doing well right now, and part of that is because Brody, Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple Double himself, broke the record that Oscar Robertson has had, I think, since the 60s. Once he passed whomever was at the number 1 spot, no one, for the last 40 plus years, he's been the pinnacle of the triple double crown, which is to it's not a legit it is legit, but it's not like just saying I'm the king of the triple doubles doesn't actually tell you the whole story, right? Because like anybody can score. Most superstars put up at least 20 points a night, right? But it's the rebounds and the assists, and it's being involved on both sides of the floor that Russell Westbrook is like really a champion of. He will finish the season with a triple double. I think that's his what is this? His fourth time in the last 5 years. I think 2 years ago he didn't average a triple double, or maybe it was last year. And yeah, what do you guys like about who do you guys any worries in this 7 through 10 seeds for the Washington Wizards not to make it?
I mean, I guess I'd be worried a little bit about Boston. I know you mentioned them a little bit. They haven't been my favorite team. I think they're probably the most disappointing team. I know Kemba was out for an extended period of time to start the season, but just based on talent alone and the coaching of Brad Stevens, I assumed that they'd be relatively high and probably not even facing any sort of play-in tournament. But here they are. The Pacers, I'm not too worried about. You mentioned they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. I would probably bet on the Wizards and Celtics coming out of this. So if I had to bet money on it, maybe LaMelo shines a little bit over any other superstars out of there and kind of get them into the actual playoffs. But
I get what you're saying there, right? Because Boston should have 2 home games to make it into the playoffs here. Even if they lose the first one, they should still potentially make it. Okay,
and the only reason I would say Boston too is I'm just a huge Jason Tatum fan. So if I'm going to bet on a player, I'd probably bet like the players that are in the 7 through 10 teams. You got the best players that are Jason Tatum, LaMelo Ball, and then you have Brody and Bradley Beal. The Pacers, I mean, you have Sabonis, but I'm not really sure what he's going to do playoff wise. So if you rank those 4, I'd say Jason Tatum's at the top of that list, if not number 2. So that's why the only reason I'd have Boston probably advancing into the actual playoffs.
Like, I'd want Sabonis on my team. Don't get me wrong, but I ain't afraid of going up against 5-on-5 with him if I'm the Celtics, Hornets, or Wizards. Just because I got Tatum on my side. I got LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges is balling the hell out, or I got Brody and Beal. Like I'm not. To me, that doesn't like strike fear into me. So Sabonis is a good player, probably a little underrated. So we're going to talk about.
I think he's pretty darn underrated. I have the Celtics and Wizards as well. I've had the Wizards for a while. Even without Jaylen Brown, I think the Celtics will beat. If they lose the first game, they'll win the second game. So
the Celtics. Let's just say it plays out the exact way it is right now, right? Celtics versus the Hornets, Pacers versus the Wizards. Okay, let's say the Wizards beat the Pacers because we kind of have that vibe, right? If Boston loses, only Boston or the Wizards will make it, right? So that means it could be Charlotte and the Wizards, right? So we'll see how it plays out. I would expect Boston to win at least one home game of the 2. However, if they don't win the first one against the Hornets, then I don't know if I'm gonna root for them to beat the Wizards. So
Kemba Walker revenge game, bro. There is no way that Kemba Walker is letting the Celtics lose that game versus the Hornets, bro. There's no shot.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and with Jason Tatum and Brad Stevens, Brad Stevens is way too good of a coach. They still, even without Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown is a guy who numerically he does a great job, but I feel like he forces a lot on the basketball court. And that can be a good thing when you're struggling, and it could be a very bad thing when you're struggling. It just depends on if the shots go in, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. We have a 1v4 ranking we'll do at the end of today's show where I'll talk about it a little bit, but just for my play style specifically, I don't feel like he lets the game come to him enough. Not that him being off the court is going to do them any favors, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is they are good enough with him not there to beat the Hornets. We don't even know if Gordon Hayward's coming back. Miles Bridges is actually hurt. He hasn't played the last 2 games, and I don't know if he's going to play the next one. He's nearing a return, but he's not for sure back yet. And Gordon Hayward's still gone.
Maybe they're holding him out a little bit, or they're holding.
That's possible. Boom! And you got the revenge narrative. Right, swing it back, baby. No way, Gordon Hayward lets the Hornets win it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No shot though.
The Wizards. The Wizards are up 3 right now against the Hawks, so that game is pretty close. With 7 minutes to go, they're up 3. The Nets are up on the Spurs at halftime, 57-51. I was the one that said the Spurs weren't going to make the playoffs, so we'll see if the Spurs the Spurs have to lose, I think, their last remaining games, and then the Kings have to win theirs. We'll see if that prediction holds true.
Your
And
boy
then
Halliburton's not playing either, man. That
this
makes
is
it tough.
true. This is important right here, though. The Cavaliers are beating the Boston Celtics 42-39 at halftime. If the Celtics lose today, I don't think they're the 7th seed. I think, well, unless it's statistically impossible, but I think that's like such a like a brutal loss to have to endure, and then to me, then if they can't even beat the Cavs, like with their playoff implications on the line here, I mean,
Oh, I think Kemba's out. I don't think Kemba's playing today.
so. Well, we'll see how that one plays out. But the Cavaliers got some young kids that have had so much playing time this year that I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavs beat the Celtics. But we'll see. It's still early, halftime, right? Okay. So,
Alex Caruso was listed out, by the way, boys.
updated there. Okay.
Alex Caruso's out.
We were looking at that, folks, before we hopped on the show today here. So, you guys both think the Wizards and the Celtics will make it out of here, just because I like to go against the grain. I'll say the Hornets and the Wizards make it into the 7 and the 8 seed. So we'll see what happens. But
that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, if Boston lost. Again, they will be my most disappointing team of 2021. So it wouldn't surprise me.
So
Surprise me.
we kind of talked about our 7 through 10s here, right? I'm gonna ask you guys, because on this little thumbnail I put a mystery person. Who is to you the most important player between the Celtics, Hornets, Pacers, and Wizards that not only for this play-in tournament, because that's important, but who do you think brings the most leverage with them in a playoff series once the postseason starts?
It's a bit of a tough question because there's a couple of guys that we haven't really seen in the playoffs just yet. Like I don't think we've seen Bradley Beal in the playoffs. I think maybe one time with John Wall. I don't recall how well he performed. I would probably lean towards Bradley Beal just because of kind of his ability to score and what he brings to the game, and an all-around game is probably translates a little bit better than anybody else's. Other than that, maybe Jason Tatum, LaMelo Ball. I'd be tempted to say, but he's a rookie, so I just don't know. I just don't like Russell Westbrook in the playoffs. Russell Westbrook has shown to be a little reckless and a bit inefficient in the playoffs, so I'm not going to put him as the most important player from the East. So I think for right now, I'll probably say Bradley Beal, at least for the play-in tournament, with Jason Tatum kind of hovering right beneath him, and maybe even Kemba, because as Johnny mentioned, Kemba's not going to if he does play, because he's out now, I don't know how long his absence is going to be, but if he does move on and play into the play-in tournament and face Charlotte, if the things stay where they're at, he could definitely play like a huge factor in the outcome of that game. So I'll go Bradley Beal, but Jason Tatum's right beneath him.
Yeah, I'd say Bradley. That's funny. I have the same guys. I mean, if Kemba Walker is healthy for the Celtics, they're going to make the playoffs. They'll be out of the play-in. But it's Bradley Beal, just because of the simple fact, I think that there's a chance that the Washington Wizards win a first-round series. I mean, if they get in as the 8, right, they're going to have the Sixers. I'm not going to say they'll beat them, but if Bradley Beal's balling, bro, I mean, Bradley Beal's averaging 31 points a game this year. Like this scoring leader, this scoring title this year between him and Steph is a real scoring title. Like this is an actual like tit for tat type of right now that's going on. And if they somehow can they make the 7? I mean, dude, like I don't know. They could possibly jump the Hornets by the time this is all said and done. The way that they're playing right now, they're only a game behind them. So just because the Hornets are in the play-in does not mean that they're at the 8. So there's still a lot of cards to fall here. And I can see Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal winning a playoff series. Andrew, for Bradley Beal's career, he's played 40 games in the playoffs. He's averaged 22.7 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, shooting 44% from the field and 36% from the three-point line. So he's been fine. Obviously not the Bradley Beal that we've grown accustomed to, but yeah, I think Bradley Beal is by far the most important because we know what Russ is going to do. What Russ is doing right now, he's going to do. Like, I mean, he's going to have a bunch of triple-doubles, and he's going to do a lot for them offensively, defensively, peripheral-wise. It's going to be up to Bradley Beal to go in and score 32 points a night and be the dominant scorer that they're going to need because no one else on that team can score. I mean, their third option is Rui Hachimachcha. Like, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, you both bring up, I mean, I guess it's like riding that wave that the Washington Wizards are kind of on right now, right? Like, to see if they have the guys here, right, that can make you super scared to have to face them in the play-in tournament. Or
That's funny that
after
you
the
bring up
play-in tournament.
though. That's funny that you brought up the Wizards could, surpass both the Hornets and the Pacers. The Pacers have to play the Lakers coming up soon. The Hornets have to have the Clippers and the Knicks remaining on their schedule. The Wizards, on the other hand, have. Let's see. Sorry, I'm pulling it up real quick. The Wizards have the Cavs, and then they play the Hornets to kind of decide where the playoff seating, the play-in tournament seating will lie. So it should be pretty interesting. If Washington could get up into the 7 and 8, then it's a completely different story about who's going to be. But I mean, for what it is right now, I would, like I said earlier, Boston and Washington are probably still my two teams to make it out of there.
Is Terry Rozier healthy right now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
he's fine.
So if the Hornets are the 7 seed and have to face the Brooklyn Nets, the only way that I would see them beating them is via the 3, just completely trying to outscore these mother effers. So I'm gonna say Terry Rozier is the most important player because I'm gonna just assume that the
Scary
Hornets
Terry return, huh?
are the 7 seed and have to face the Brooklyn Nets. So I'll leverage Scary Terry against the Brooklyn Nets as kind of the most important player in that scenario. But yeah, you both are obviously right. Like it would come down to Beal or Brody if it had to be. I would probably just give a tick of more appreciation to Brody because you guys are right about Beal, but Brody now he has to become elite, right? In terms of like legendary status, like Hall of Fame player, right? He will be because he owns like these statistics that are just nuts, but he's got to also like say like, oh, he was a gamer. He came on and still put those numbers up in the playoffs too. So
Just again, I know we rant on about stuff, bro, but Russell Westbrook's been to a finals. Chris Paul been to a finals.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely, you're right. So
True.
speaking of Chris Paul here, we got Chris Paul of the Phoenix Suns, proved that team, and they are the 2 seed, right? So the Jazz are the conference champions, right? Isn't that has that been clinched yet? Because it sure feels like it. I think they have one more if they have to win one more game and then they clinch it, right?
I think do the Suns own the tiebreaker? I think the Suns might own
They
the
do,
tiebreaker.
yeah. Phoenix is 3-0 against the Jazz, so the Jazz if the Jazz win out, they'll maintain that 1 seed.
They just got to win one game.
I think,
Yes.
yeah, 1 game probably.
So
Yeah, one more game.
and they face the San Antonio Spurs in one of those games, so potentially there, right? So okay, we'll talk about this the West here. We'll kind of apply the same metrics that we did this last round, where we'll talk about who we kind of think in the play-on tournament, who's the most important play-in tournament person, and then we could start by first talking about the Lakers, though, just to highlight some injury news. Defending champs deserve that. Anthony Davis and LeBron both are going to sit tonight, so that's unfortunate for them. But I believe it's strategy, which is the adverse reaction to what the Brooklyn Nets are doing. Though the Nets can afford to do it because either way, like they're still a top seed in the East. The Lakers, on the other hand, need to make sure that their guys are healthy, but they also need them to play. So it's kind of they're kind of in an awkward middle area here. If it were to stand today, the Lakers would be the 7 seed and get 2 home games to beat the Warriors, Grizzlies, Spurs, or Kings if they make it, right? So I don't think that the Lakers would get bounced in this play-in tournament. Crazier things happen, I guess. But tonight they're hosting the Houston Rockets, and they're putting up their 17th championship banner. Looking at you, Boston. So we're both the 2 tied franchises in championships won here. We talked about Alex Caruso not playing, and Dennis Schroeder is out. LeBron is out. AD is out. So this team, even though they have 4 of their top guys or playmakers out, I should say, because Caruso balling, man, he can ball, and Schroeder's kind of he can do it. He could do it too on a not on an every night basis though. the Houston Rockets are even more depleted. Look at their roster, and you're like, there's a couple of nomers on there that I probably would even just go over my bald head. So we'll see. The Lakers should win tonight. However, the win isn't as important as the health to LeBron and Anthony Davis. And I watched the Laker game last night, and Anthony Davis kind of was grabbing at his knee a little bit. So I think if
groin.
his groin. So like
Yeah.
to me, they're also keeping him out for like that, and he gets like. He gets walloped all the time. It's because he's 7 feet tall, right? And he plays small sometimes. So he's kind of in the center of these guys' universe, and so I feel bad for him.
He's a baby giraffe.
He's a baby giraffe.
Yeah, he's a baby giraffe. Played point guard in all of high school until he got to college. That's when he finally made the change. Dude was a point guard. You see it, man. Unbelievable. 7 feet tall. Does the stuff he does. Not even possible. Don't even know how he does it. And they were asking a dumb question on ESPN today. Should the Lakers not be the betting odds if they finish in the 8 seed or the 7 seed? Yeah, they should, because who has LeBron James, bitches?
Yeah,
Ask yourself that question, okay? Until this dude proves otherwise, when it's time for playoff time to come around, and you want to know who's going to be successful, just look at the roster, look at who has LeBron James, and that team's probably going to do pretty darn good. It's not rocket science. It's 17 years now. It's been going on every darn year, and I'm sick and tired. It's like the people who are betting against Brady. Is Brady done? I have no clue. But until he's actually done, I'm not going to be the one to say it. Like, if anybody ever watches the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz, Stu tells Dan all the time, Dan, I love you, buddy. I'm trying to save you. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's just a take to stay away from. There's a lot of other hot takes to have, bro. But the two people I'm not going to have takes against are LeBron James and Tom freaking Brady.
So I'm with you because I think, like, as you lament your legacy.
Egregious.
As LeBron laments his legacy, and when we ultimately look back at it, if he wins this title as a 7 seed, because, I mean, let's be honest here, it looks like the Lakers are going to be the 7 seed, right? That would be the first time a 7 seed has ever won an NBA championship. And if they get to the finals, I don't think they're losing. So if it's all about health. So we'll see if the Lakers can, if like their health can subside, like their health injuries can subside a little bit. Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets were the 6 seed, as I kind of mentioned a few weeks ago. The 6 seed that won that year in '95, I believe. So it hasn't been done often, but if someone's going to do it, it's going to be LeBron, right? I mean, that's
if he does this. Right? Guys, if he does this, if he wins the championship as a 7 seed, he would have been the only team to ever do that, to be worse than the 6 seed and win a championship, and he would be the only person to ever overcome a 3-1 deficit versus one of the greatest NBA teams that has ever been put together. And then he'd have 5.
Are we talking about the Brooklyn Nets?
No, the Warriors.
The Warriors back in 2016.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, I thought you were talking about
2016.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 7 seed, win championship, and only team ever to overcome a 3-1 deficit in the finals. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you? It's over at that point. And how many finals he's been to? How many MVPs he's had? It's unbelievable. Yeah.
So 1 and 2 probably going to end up like this. Excuse me. 4 and 5 to be determined, or the 3 and 4 to be determined. Nuggets or Clippers. One of these guys most likely. One of these guys are going to get it right. No one else can get the 3 or 4 between these two. The Trailblazers and Mavericks still potentially could be the Mavericks are the 6 seed no matter what. The Trailblazers could still be the 7 seed. The Lakers could still be the 5 seed or the 6 seed, however it plays out. So that can change, but I think the Lakers have to play in the play-in tournament. Okay, so as it were to stand, we're just going to talk about them in the play-in tournament because it would be too predictive if we don't have them there. So Lakers hosting the Warriors, and then Memphis hosting the Spurs. I think whoever loses this first round, Lakers or Warriors, is going to ultimately destroy whoever comes out of the 9 and 10 seed. That's my opinion. So Lakers and Warriors 7 and 8 make it out of the make it into the playoffs, and then the Lakers have a nice juicy matchup against Chris Paul, and I think that would be one hell of a series and one hell of a barometer to see how far the Lakers can go. Because you don't count them out until they actually play. Unless they don't play. What do you guys think?
Okay.
I was gonna let you go first, to be honest, but
Oh, okay. No, I mean, yeah, that's no worries. I actually, for this, I'll give my take on what I think how it'll actually play out. I don't think the Lakers will be in the play-in tournament personally. Portland plays Utah, Phoenix, and Denver to close out the season. Going to be kind of tough. They're going to have to win all. They're going to have to win all 3 games to clinch for sure. And they have. They have to win 2 out of those next 3 actually, because they own the tiebreaker over the Lakers. So pardon me for that. But I think they lose 2 out of those 3, and the Lakers get up to 6. Dallas is probably going to win out. They face the Timberwolves, the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, and Raptors, 3 teams that have been eliminated from playoff contention for quite a while now. So they're probably going to stay in the 5 or 6 range. But yeah, the Lakers will probably make quick work of the Warriors. I'm honestly not particularly scared. I know Steph is kind of going off. Like if the Lakers get into that game with them, I don't imagine they lose that first one. And if they do lose that first one, then LeBron, would just be the 8th seed to win the finals, the first 8 seed. I'm just being honest. So I don't imagine them being much struggle there. Golden State will probably get in over Memphis or San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, if the Trailblazers lose tonight they're playing at the Jazz, and the Jazz are the best home team in the entire league. They'll only dropped a couple, right? They are
31-4 on the season at home.
They have to go on the road tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns, who are the second or third best team home wise in the league. So it's gonna pressure is gonna be all on Dame and that team if they don't pull it out tonight.
yeah, I pretty much am on par with you guys. The only thing I could see, and it's a little bit of my anti-Steph, I guess. I'm not really anti-Steph. I just have a little bit of questions, right? Don't count the Grizzlies out, bro, from winning that game. Steph can shoot the lights out and can absolutely take over a ball game. They've played twice this year. So far, it's a 1-1 split. Big game, May 16th. They're only separated by a half a game right now in the playoff standing. And May 16th, we have ourselves Memphis at Golden State. That's going to be a big game to see if Memphis wins, they're going to be up in that 8 seed, and they'll have the opportunity to drop a game where the Warriors won't. They'll have to play the Spurs, who I think they'll make quick work of. But at the end of the day, I think the Warriors and the Grizzlies will be playing each other to see who gets the 8 seed. Having that as a home game, though, for Memphis, going to the grindhouse, it's not the grindhouse like it used to be because everyone runs all over them now and they don't play defense anymore. But, yeah, don't sleep on the Grizzlies, bro. Jaren Jackson's back. I think he's playing like his 10th game since his injury. Jonas Valanciunas bangs down there. I don't know who the heck's going to guard him. I know Draymond thinks he's a great defender, but Jonas Valanciunas will eat him alive down there. Jonas Valanciunas will have 20 rebounds in that game. I mean, that's not a hot take or anything. Dude will have 20 rebounds. And Ja Morant is unbelievable. Dylan Brooks is going to be all over Steph Curry. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. He's one of those guys who, when he's on your team, you love him. When he's not, I swear to you want to pop him in the face. Bruce Bowen, calling out you, buddy. Holy Toledo, man. If Bruce Bowen was on my team, I'd have a Bruce Bowen jersey. But because he's on the Spurs, I want to take this Ron Artest elbow and give it to him right in the beak.
Meta World Peace.
He wasn't Meta World Peace when he was throwing bows, baby. That was Ron Artest.
He wasn't. So real quick, I just wanted to mention the Clippers' last 3 opponents are the Hornets, the Rockets, and then I don't remember the last one. I'm checking. I think the Thunder. So,
bro, I don't mean to cut you off. 116, 114 right now. Washington's up. Trae Young just missed a shot.
Ooh,
47 seconds.
Let's go. Someone over there. I'm not rooting for anyone. Okay, so the Clippers have 3 easy games remaining here. If the Nuggets can't catch them because the Clippers have 3 easy wins here, I wonder if the Nuggets play their whole team the last day of the season where they have to face the Trailblazers. And do the Trailblazers maybe get an easy win there because of the fact that the Nuggets are going to maybe rest guys because they can't get to the 3 seed. So that's the only thing that would go against the Lakers' favor right there. Just to throw that out there for all the scenarios that are going to play out. What happened, Jay? You're
John. Yeah. John Collins just hit a 3. Russell Westbrook drove. Clint Capella blocked it. Trae Young got the rebound, pushed it out in transition, and Trae Young dished it out to John Collins for a corner 3. He nailed it. So they're up 1 now.
The Hawks are up 1.
The Hawks are up 1. 24 seconds to go. 24.4. Russell Westbrook missed a game-winning shot yesterday. Let's see if we got a little history repeating itself.
If I were them, I would hold off till like 2 seconds or 3 seconds or so and try to take the last shot to win.
No, you're losing, dude. You got to give yourself a chance for a second chance opportunity.
Yeah, you know, a tip in, right? Like Beal shoots it.
It's just like I got what? Beal's out.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
It's all Russ, baby. And if Russ is shooting, you better have somebody rebound him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Oh well. Okay. All right. Do whatever you guys want. I just don't want to see Trae Young have the ball with like 15 seconds to go, down 1. Conversely.
No, you go with like 8. You got to go with like 8 seconds.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Kobe's number. Got it. So, we've talked about the play-in tournament here. Is it really just LeBron James? Is that the answer for the most important player that comes out of this 7 through 10 spot right here, guys?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm with you. I agree.
I just think it'd be hard to make an argument against it. I mean, it's the greatest player of this generation.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's Steph, right? Even if we wanted to choose Steph, right? Does anybody think that if they make the 8 seed, that they're going to beat the Jazz? No, they're not.
At Steph's best, the Golden State Warriors don't win the title this year. At LeBron's best, the Lakers can still win the title this year. So that's kind of the way that I would rationalize it as a fan of the NBA, not just the Lakers. Okay, so we're going to close out the show with one little quick rank that we talked about earlier in the show. We're going to talk about, I think this was this like an ESPN post, Andrew?
Yeah, it was some social media, some NBA social media outlet posted it, and then it got kind of blown up, and then ESPN reposted it afterwards. But it was just interesting because they're all kind of like, you know, similar play styles and similar sizes and stuff, with the exception of Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, it was posed like a couple days ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. Can't remember exactly, but thought it'd be interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I think like you said, it did kind of blow up here. So the ranking that we're talking about here, I'm gonna try to pull it up while I talk about it. Is Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, Zach LaVine. So our job here is to rank them and kind of get in the heat of this argument real quick, and maybe not take forever. Either of you guys want to go first?
Yeah, let's go, and everyone give their 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. What do you guys think about that?
Okay.
All right. So who's your 4, Ace?
I was gonna put a graphic up on the screen.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Oh man, this is tough. Jaylen Brown.
Ooh, interesting.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I was able to give some we'll get some commentary after.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For me, it'd probably be Zach LaVine here. Yeah, I'd probably go Zach LaVine out of these 4.
Mine's Zach LaVine too. Ace, why do you think it's Jaylen Brown?
Okay, so I'm looking at this group, right, and the way that the way that I interpret is, in my opinion, is that he would be, to me, the least, like, the worst scorer of this bunch, the worst playmaker of this bunch. He might I think he's the biggest guy here. So, like, he'll probably out rebound this crew a little bit, and conversely, because he's not making as many plays, he's probably not getting as many turnovers. That's kind of how I would rationalize it. Like, when you know, as a fan of the NBA, like, I don't necessarily just look at points, so I got to look at it from a different point of view too. I think Jaylen Brown also kind of took a step back a little bit defensively, so At least that's my opinion. You know, yeah, I'm probably wrong, but I think since he took a little edge off defensively, not the best playmaker of this bunch, I would just not invest in him if I'm, you know, as a like if I want him on my team, I guess, so to speak.
Andrew, what do you think? Why you have Zach?
He has averaged 23 points. Zach LaVine, that is. I have him at 4. He has averaged over 23 points a game since he joined Chicago, averaging 27 this year and shooting his best percentage of his career, 50% from the field, 42% from three. I need to see a little more. He got Vucevic, and you know, it's a short sample size that he has of Vucevic and hasn't really translated to wins just yet, and it hasn't translated to wins without Vucevic yet. So I would need to see a little bit more. Jaylen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker have definitely shown a little bit more success in terms of just winning games in the NBA. Devin Booker a lot more recently with Chris Paul, but Devin Booker also made an All-Star team already. Zach LaVine made his first this year, so I'm going to need a little bit more from Zach LaVine before I put him in anywhere but 4 in terms of all these 4 players here.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you've mentioned that his shooting has gotten better. It wasn't very great the first few seasons. And granted, he was on the worst of all of these teams, right? I mean, if you look at Devin Booker, he's probably the second worst. You know, Phoenix was pretty bad, besides from a few years ago. I know everyone keeps talking about Chris Paul for MVP. I know this is kind of off topic, but they were pretty darn good after the All-Star break last year, and they didn't have DeAndre Ayton for the first part of the season, so they were going to be a pretty solid team. They weren't going to be the second team in the freaking West, but Chris Paul's not the MVP. Just my little take of Ruski there. Yeah, Zach LaVine, he doesn't win. I mean, he's been on some bad teams, like I mentioned, so that definitely I mean, when you're on the Timberwolves and the Bulls lately, like, you're not going to win a lot of games. But love to see the shooting percentage increase. I would want to see some W's, man. And I know it's hard, again, being on the Bulls and being on the Timberwolves, but when you have these other 3 guys in the mix that we're ranking, I would take all 3 of them above him right now, unfortunately. What do you think about 3, Ace? Who did you have 3 then?
All right, let me put the little guy up here. Okay, 3. I didn't even think about this before. I should have probably thought about this before. Oh man. Donovan Mitchell.
Really? Okay.
I don't know if I'm I'm happy with that, but yeah, Donovan Mitchell.
I'm not a big fan of Donovan Mitchell. Andrew, who you got 3? I have Jaylen Brown here at 3.
Yeah, me too.
And
yeah.
I have him over Zach LaVine simply for the defensive ability that he brings. I can't really say much more. They're kind of it's kind of a wash when it comes to their field goal percentage and their 3-point percentage throughout their careers. They're pretty dead even. Zach LaVine does have a higher points per game throughout his career, but that's solely because, like we mentioned, like you mentioned, Jay, he's played for bad teams and has had to be the focal point scorer. But in terms of just talent and ability, and especially on the defensive end, being a player who can do it on both sides of the floor, I think Jaylen Brown's a better player at Zach LaVine than this point. And that could change because they're both really young, and players hit their peak, in their late 20s. Some hit their peak in the mid 20s. But I'll go Jaylen Brown for 3. So Zach LaVine 4, Jaylen Brown 3.
Yeah, me too. I've already talked about it. I think Jaylen Brown forces a little bit too much on the basketball court. That's my only real worry about him. He does have a breakout season this year because through his career he's only averaged 15, 4, and 2. But this last season, before he got hurt, 24.7, 6, 3.5 assists, which is by far the most he's ever had. 48% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line. So he's seen himself a little nice jump too, like Zach LaVine kind of has. I just feel like he affects the game on the other side of the ball more than he does, so I give him the edge there.
Okay. I'm gonna say Dawn, purely because I guess I like Zach LaVine and Devin Booker a little bit better. I think Donovan Mitchell is capable to, I think at his best he is the best second player on a team. So that's my perception of Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he breaks the cusp and becomes the 1A of a team. So
I agree with that. I think three of these guys are that. I think for 3 of these guys, if they're the best player on your team, you are not winning a championship. But there's one guy who, if he is, you can win a championship, and we'll get to it right now. But yeah.
Okay. So our 2 seeds. Me first again.
Sure.
I'll say Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Is it Zach LaVine for everybody here?
No, we have Donovan Mitchell left. So Donovan Mitchell's
Oh
two.
yeah. You guys said Zach LaVine for
Yeah,
four.
Donovan Mitchell's two. Over his career, and I always do this because I'm not a big Donovan Mitchell guy either. I kind of have the same problems with Donovan Mitchell that I have with Jaylen Brown. He forces stuff too much. He's fine on the defensive end. He's not the greatest perimeter defender. He does allow a lot of blow-bys, but he's super athletic. He's averaged 23.5 points for his career. 4.3 assists, 4.1 rebounds, 18.2 PER, player efficiency rating. Every year his points per game has improved from 20.5 to 23.8 to 24. He just got it that year to 26.4 this year. He's having, again, we're going to talk about it because you have to. He's been on the best team out of all four of these guys, right? I mean, I guess Boston, you could argue, is right there. But I'd say over the last 5 years, Donovan Mitchell's been on the better team in Utah. Again, I just don't like how much he forces stuff. His shooting percentage is fine for his career. He shoots 44% from the field, 36% from three, which is good. It's good. I'm not going to knock 36% from the three-point line. That's pretty good. But, for the elite guys, shoot like 37, 38, 39. But, yeah, he's number two because, again, like you mentioned, Ace, if he's the best player on your team, you are not winning a championship.
Okay. So
Yeah, I got Donovan Mitchell at number two as well. I'll leave all the commentary to what Jay said because it's basically true. He's never won fewer than 44 games since he entered the NBA. Donovan Mitchell, the Utah Jazz have been relatively good for quite a while now. They're just not going to be, just to reiterate, they're not going to be that team to win a title if Donovan Mitchell is the best player.
So Zach LaVine he's 26, almost 27, I think. So I think he's maybe caps out at 2. He'll never become the one out of this group. I think he's athletically great. He just hasn't, he's had the opportunity to kind of take that next step. Great scorer, but subpar defense. Slam dunk champion, youngest to do it, right? So
Back to back.
And I would trust giving him the ball. I just think he needs to get the heck out of Chicago so he can play for, an actual have an actual chance to win the title here. But yeah, that would be my perception. I would just trust him with the ball a little bit better than I would Donovan Mitchell. And our 1 seed.
This is probably consensus, right, for all of us because there's one guy left on the board,
It's
Devin
not
Booker.
even close. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Devin Booker. I want to say this. Maybe he's this generation's Kobe Bryant, right? Like he can set up to be that. I think he just. I don't know if it's if it's not the lack of inspiration or ability or like the light hasn't been switched on yet. I just think he's not he's not Kobe's level, right? But I think he could be our interpretation of the Kobe Bryant of this generation. When we look back at him, I want Devin Booker with the ball. I think he's
Better start winning some championships.
I know. So I think,
I'm just kidding.
Sunday big cheeks.
I think needs to come to Los Angeles and play a couple of seasons with LeBron before he
Don't
retires.
get me started, bro. I've been on D-Book since his Kentucky days.
Sorry, getting a call from Adam Silver. You vetoed that? Okay.
Okay, so
Bad. I know that was bad. I'm sorry.
little bit of Devin Booker hype before we go off air.
I mean, yeah, there's an argument to be made that Devin Booker's probably the best two-way player in the NBA right now. In terms of the defensive end, he's one of the better wing defenders. I know Jayden mentioned that, even though I'm already mentioning it because he gushes over it every time he sees Devin Booker on the floor. The thing about Devin Booker that you really like to see is that you mentioned Donovan Mitchell's scoring has gone up every season. Not only has Devin Booker's scoring gone up each season that he's been in the league, his efficiency has gone up. He's down actually 1 point this year, but his efficiency is some of the best that it's been this year, and he's distributed the ball a little bit better. This year, he's down in assist comparison to last year because Chris Paul obviously joined the team. But if you take out this year, with the exception, he had improved in field goal percentage, in points per game, in rebounds and assists. And again, he's just one of the best wing defenders in the NBA, and they come at a premium in this league. They're not for not everybody can do it. It's really hard to be that locked in on the defensive end all the time, and Devin Booker is one of the few that can always do that.
Real quick before Jay starts, remember we did that top 25 under 25, and Devin Booker was number 8. Like it was Luka, Zion, LaMelo,
Ridiculous.
Donovan Mitchell. But anyways, he was 8 and totally undersold. Devin Booker. But go ahead, Jay.
It's preposterous. I don't understand it. I mean, like Andrew said, he's one of the best two-way players in the league. The game is becoming a wing and guard league. Like, there are very few people who are super successful down on the block. Like, Joel Embiid is one of them. I mean, besides that, even Anthony Davis, bro, this dude's a freakazoid. Like, you have to be a unicorn nowadays, bro. You have to be able to succeed on the perimeter. Yeah. And when you're Devin Booker, right, you have somebody who's able to make plays for himself and for others, shoots the ball at an elite rate, is one of the elite wing defenders that we've seen, especially guarding the perimeter. I mean, he gives guys fits out there, dude. And coming out of college, and this is why Andrew, whenever I talk about Devin Booker, Andrew's always going to mention this. Since he was coming out of college, I was like, this dude is going to get drafted 8th, all because he didn't start at Kentucky, all because John Calipari wanted to seem cool and bring him off the bench. Dude is 6'6". He's a legit freaking perimeter defender, playmaker, and scorer. There's no way he should have gone 8th. You do a redo of that draft. He's a top 3 draft pick. It's unbelievable. And he's really, really good. Even when they sucked, he was really, really good. And now that they're good, he's really, really good. The game is really slowed down for him, man. Like, the three-point shooting and stuff, he's taken less three-pointers this year than he has in, like, the last 3 years. And that just shows you he's more comfortable with his mid-range game. He's more comfortable in handling the ball and making sure that he's getting to the spots that Devin Booker wants to shoot. And he's not just shooting them up for volume because he just has to get shots up because his team stinks, right? I mean, Mikal Bridges looks like a real player right now. Like Mikal Bridges. Like, I thought Miles Bridges was going to be light years better than Mikal Bridges. And, I mean, obviously, the team's better, so it's going to look like he's better. But Devin Booker, by far, he can be – like, dude's 25. He's 25 years old. Like, he's not even in his prime yet. Like, you can argue he's just ascending to the prime of his career. And he can definitely be the best player on your team. And win a championship, they're the 2 seed right now with him the best player on his team. And they are much more loaded than Utah is. And Donovan Mitchell is number 1 right now. I get that. But they have way more talent in Utah than they do in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's funny how we even I'm a victim of, or not a victim. Even I'm a suspect of this. Like, when I talk about the Phoenix Suns, the first thing that comes up to is Chris Paul, right? Because this guy is getting so much hype, and Devin Booker, meanwhile, is probably going to be the best shooting guard in the NBA. If not, he hasn't already, got you to believe in that this season, the next season, or the season after that, right?
He's averaging 25 and a half, 4.5, 4. 19.4 player efficiency rating.
Let me just let me pat him on the back. He's also dating Kendall Jenner, which I might think, to me, seems like the most less crazy of the bunch there. She's the one that models, right? So I don't know. I mean, I guess they all probably do that a little bit, but
yeah.
But go Devin Booker. Get that, bro.
Last thing before we go, just because Jay made a point about how egregious it was about his draft position. He was actually drafted 13th. Let me give you a couple of guys that were drafted in front of him that will just make you. He was drafted 13th in 2015 overall in the 2015 NBA draft. Karl Anthony Towns went number 1 to Minnesota. D'Angelo Russell went number 2. On this list, we also have Jahlil Okafor, Mario Hezonja, Willie Cauley-Stein, Emmanuel Mudiay, Stanley Johnson, Frank Kaminsky, Justice Winslow, Miles Turner, who's not bad but should not have gone 11th, and Trey Lyles.
Who?
Above Devin Booker. And again, it's honestly the Calipari effect also kind of even though Karl Anthony Towns went number 1 overall, if you remember, Jay, when we were like looking at that draft, I had no idea what Karl Anthony Towns could do physically on the court. I didn't know he was a 3-point shooter. I didn't know he could put the ball on the deck and dribble because John Calipari just had him sitting in the paint with whatever his other big man was. I can't remember his name, but I know his face. It just had him sitting in the paint, just boarding up and doing nothing. And then he comes into the NBA and it's like, oh wow, this guy's putting up 25 and 10 like the new Kevin Love. Like, what the heck?
That's a bigger conversation that we are gonna have one day about college basketball. Right? College basketball, it's starting to kind of halfway transition into we're allowing pace and players to dictate what goes on. But there are too many college basketball coaches that just bring players in, recruit them, and are like, you're going to run what I tell you to run. You're going to run the sets that I tell you to run because I'm smarter than everybody else, and my set is going to beat everyone else's, and my play is going to beat – bro, you got Karl Anthony Towns to come to Kentucky. Give him the gosh darn ball and shut up. Huh? Why don't you sit over there and beat one? There's 5 people on the basketball court, okay? 5 people for a team on the basketball court. Guess who's not one of them? Coach. Okay, Phil Jackson was a fantastic coach. He coached LeBron. He coached Kobe and Michael Jordan.
LeBron James.
You're gonna win some championships when you coach LeBron. I almost said it again. When you coach Michael Jordan and Kobe freaking Bryant. All right, coaches, you're amazing. You're great. The game starts. The ball's rolled out there. Unless there's a timeout or something, shut your trap, huh? I'm totally kidding. I think it's important, but not as important as college basketball coaches want to make themselves think they are. Do the recruiting and let the players play the game.
Wouldn't you think that a college basketball coach would want that the fame that comes with that player? So if like they see the potential in them to become a star and like reinforce all those like positive attributes that they may have, like wouldn't they just like make more money, get more, like backwards fame because of that?
They
like,
still do because they freaking work for Duke and Kentucky and these blue bloods, so it doesn't matter. So it literally doesn't matter, like at all.
I know. Next year, we got an HBCU needs to win it all. Let's just do it. Like F this. Okay, so I think we've done our
going to those schools. So
I think absolutely. I think we've done our part. I think we really let the world know, and our viewership here, how important the last few days of the NBA season are, and how much it's probably all going to change. So when we come back to y'all next week after this weekend of games, we're going to probably have a lot to talk about. So if you guys have any suggestions for us or any points of view, because if we don't already have enough stuff to tell us, let us know on our Twitter or Instagram or YouTube channel in the next couple of days. We hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We are going to go watch the Lakers hang a banner. Until we meet again, guys, have a wonderful night. Bye.
Later, guys.
Thank you for joining the AJ Sports Show.